Today, we're going to speak about how to effectively launch a new person. So now that they've started your business, how do you effectively launch the new person? And also what I'm going to touch up on is how to really create momentum in your next arise business. Those are the two things I'm going to really focus on. And as I speak about building a team and so on and so forth, I'm going to really speak about how to get the most out of, a new person that you sign up. Because remember, every new person that joins your team, every new person is an opportunity for new momentum. Every new person that joins your team is an opportunity for new momentum. Now, ladies and gents, listen to this carefully. I remember when I first started network marketing, I walked into a room, and in the entire room that I walked into, there was around 15 people in the entire room. 15, 20, let's even say 25, let's even say 30. Let's even say 30 people. In the entire room, when I walked in, there was around 15 to 30 people, right? Let's even say 30 people in the whole room when I first walked into my first ever presentation. Now, when I walked in, there wasn't a massive event of hundreds of people. There wasn't hundreds of people making a lot of money. No. You know what I saw? I saw a few people that were executive team leader. A few people, not a lot, a few people that were executive team leader. I saw one or two success stories of people that started and in 30 days, they made £500. And when I saw this, I was like, wow. But what really excited me was the compensation plan and the possibility of making 50,000 a month. The possibility of becoming financially free. Because at the time, I was working as a manager in a supermarket. And that's what got me excited about the network marketing opportunity. Now, walk with me. So I walked into a room of 30 people when I started. So the point I'm trying to make is you never know when that next big leader is going to walk into your team. Listen, they can walk into your business in a one-on-one presentation. They can walk into your business on a Zoom call. They can walk into your business in a home meeting. They can walk into your business at a regional event or a national event. Or guess what? They can just walk into your business on the street, on the airport, in an Uber, in a restaurant. You just never know. What you have to understand as a leader is this is a numbers game. This is a numbers game. The person who gets Nexarize in front of the most people is the person that will simply make the most money. Now, why do I say that? The person that gets Nexarize in front of the most people will have the most people joining their team. And the more people that join your team is the more volume you will accumulate, because why? Is the more customers that would be acquired in your team. And the more customers that are acquired in your team is the more volume that your business will generate. And the more volume that your business generates is the more income that you will make, and is the more income that more people in your team will make. Listen to me carefully. Every single team which are doing exceptionally well, here's what they have. They have more new volume joining their team. And every team that's not doing so well just means there are less volume getting involved in their business. It's as simple as that. So you have to understand that this is a numbers game. Whenever you are not in momentum, go back to the basics, which is go back to getting more numbers to see the next arise opportunity. You are struggling. You are not getting promoted. Get more people to see next arise. It's all a numbers game. You speak to the most people, you can get this business in front of the most people. I'm telling you, you will make the most money. That is a fact. So last week, we spoke about how to give a presentation. We spoke about the different types of presentations, one-on-ones, Zoom presentations, live events. We spoke about this. We spoke about how to close someone into getting involved in your next arise business. And today, what we're going to speak about is once you close that person and you get them involved in your next arise business, then what? What's next? What do I then do? You know, what's the next steps? This is now what we are going to speak about today. So I would encourage you, have a notepad and pen right in front of you so you can make sure that you take notes and you do not miss this information that I'm about to share with every single one of you. So let's start off with, how do you launch? So number one, what is a launch? A launch simply means someone has joined your team, because signing someone up is one thing, but enrolling them is the process. So signing someone up is one thing. Enrolling them into the system is another thing. So a launch is training and taking action into someone taking their first steps so that they can have an effective launch. Listen to me carefully. A large part in business is determined by how effectively you launch. A huge part of business is determined by how effectively you launch. I want to just show you something, because I think it's so important, in really having the best start as you can. Because in business, if you don't have the right start, I'm telling you, you will struggle throughout the process. So it's about having an effective launch so you can have a great journey and you can be set up to win. You see, ladies and gentlemen, launching is very important. So you have to make sure as a leader that you set that new person up so that they can be in the best position to capitalize and win. Because number one, when someone signs up, launching has to be done within 24 hours. I'll repeat, launching has to be done within 24 hours. Now, why do I share this with you? I want you to take a look at my screen that I have up now. Okay? Launching has to take place within 24 hours. Here's the reason why. These are the days. Day number 1, day number 2, day number 3, day number 4, and day number 5. Now, day number one, the person signs up, they have 100% belief. They are excited. They are like, man, I love the excitement of this. This is unbelievable. They're really, really excited. And that's what usually happens on day number one, okay? Now, you have to understand what's going to usually happen is that person is going to go home and they're going to go to their family members, or they're going to go to their, to their loved ones, or they're going to go, to their friends. It's very important after someone signs up, you tell them, hey, listen, do not speak to Nexarize to anyone until I meet with you tomorrow. Until I meet with you tomorrow. Here's the reason why. If they go day number one after you've signed them up and they go and just speak to people, they're going to share the wrong information with people. And when they share the wrong information with people, they will lose people as a result of sharing the wrong information. Because can we all agree, day number one, you can never present the business to someone. This is why it's crucial. It's crucial that day number one, they do not share the business with anyone. So what do you have to do? Day number one, they're going to go have 100% belief of the information, give them their back office, give them their online shop so they have something to go back home to. What I always tell someone after I've signed them up, I say, hey, listen, don't speak to Nexarize about anyone until I meet with you tomorrow for your launch. Second thing I do is I always give them something to go home to. I give them their back office. I say, hey, listen, this is your back office. This is how you log in. This is your online shop. This is, take a look at your online shop. I give them something else to focus on rather than focusing on anything else, such as speaking to people, etc. And now the third thing I also do, which is very important, ladies and gents, when you sign someone up, make sure that you add them into a WhatsApp group, if your team uses a WhatsApp group or a Telegram channel, whatever it is, and let people welcome them. Believe me, that plays a very big part. I remember when I used to sign people up into my network marketing business, I would send them a message around 2 hours after I've met them. And I would say, hey, listen, it was great meeting you earlier today. I will now add you to our WhatsApp group and everyone's going to welcome you in the WhatsApp group. I will just prepare them because you don't want to randomly add them to a WhatsApp group if you've not told them that you're going to add them. So what I would always say, as soon as I sign someone up, I'll say, hey, listen, welcome to the team. So excited to have you. Hey, here's what I want to do. This is your online shop. This is your back office. I want you to take a look at these two things later when you get home. Secondly, I don't want you to speak to anyone about Nexarize until I meet with you for your launch tomorrow. Number 3, later today, I'm going to add you to our team WhatsApp group. And ladies and gents, create an environment in the WhatsApp group when you add someone that people welcomes them. I swear, I remember in my network marketing business, I literally had people that I will add them to a WhatsApp group and like 30, 40, 50 people will say welcome. You know how much that makes the person feel that they are a part of something, they're a part of a new community, that they are part of a vision, they feel welcomed, they feel like they've just joined new friends. It makes them feel good. So make sure that you have this in place. And if you don't have a WhatsApp group, make sure your upline or speak to your upline and create that culture. So day number 1, they go home and they're excited. Now, here's what happens. Day number 2, they will have 75% belief. Okay, so they will have 75% belief. Day number 3, they will have 50% belief. Day number 4, 25% belief. Day number 5, they are out of the business. Remember this. So what do you need to do? You need to make sure you launch the person right here within 24 hours. You need to launch the person right here within 24 hours. So As soon as I sign someone up, the first question I ask them is, hey, what time can we meet tomorrow? Remember last week I spoke about closed questions? I never ask questions such as, hey, can we meet tomorrow? I never ask those kind of questions. Why? If I say, can we meet tomorrow? They will say, yeah, no, it's not a closed question. Remember what I said, it's all about closed question. If I say to you, hey, listen, what do you like that I'm wearing today? You will say, oh, I love this, or I love this, or I love, you'll be able to point on one thing that you like the most. So this is why closed questions are so important. I do this a lot at home. So let me give you an example, okay? If let's say I want to eat, or let's say I'm going to a restaurant and, let's say for whatever reason, you have to share. What do you ask someone? Hey, listen, what would you like to eat? Do you want to eat the fish or the chicken? Right? Because you want the fish or the chicken. So if you say, what do you want to eat? They'll just look at the menu. Does that make sense? So the way to really narrow things down and get what you want out of someone is by having closed questions. Very important in business, closed questions. So what time can we meet tomorrow? Okay, let's 7 o'clock. Okay, perfect. Let's meet at 7 o'clock. Now, what you want to do is make sure that you have the launch ready. That very second day, 24 hours, that you do this launch. Very, very important. So now I'm meeting with you next day, 7 o'clock. I am now going to do the launch. I don't do the launch here. I don't do the launch here, and I don't do the launch here. There are sometimes what people do is they will what they will do is they will not speak to someone for days. So what will happen is the person signs up. Day number 2, nothing happens. Day number 3, nothing happens. Day number 4, nothing happens. By the time you message them on the 5th day, they don't even reply to your WhatsApp. How many times have you signed someone up to your business and they go missing? They completely go missing. We call it in English witness protection. They go into hiding, right? You come on WhatsApp, they are online. You message them, they are offline, right? You call them, they don't pick up. You message them, they don't reply. They hide from you. They unfollow you on social media. This is why it's important within 24 hours you launch that person. Now, let's get into the launching, okay? Now, regarding the launching, it's very, very important. There are a few basic steps that I want to go through with every single one of you on how to launch an IBI, which is very, very important. Now, the steps to launching is, number 1, you find out what their reason why is, and you set a goal. This is the first thing I do when I'm launching someone. Step number 2, explain the compensation plan. Step number 3, help the IBI acquire their first customers, and they can be their own customer if they want, and help them to go EI. Number 4, help them write a list and schedule emergency exposures, which is very important. Write a big contact list, get them launched as soon as possible, and promote the next upcoming event and plug them into the system. Very important. Now, launching usually should take around 1 to 1.5 hours, okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the launch document. Now, I know that some of you might not be able to see this. So what I've actually done is I've actually got the document loaded, and you can actually find this document on your resources, on the resources tab on your back office. Okay, so you'll be able to find this document. If you go onto the resources library, you'll be able to see this document. So if you just go launch document, right here. So launch document, you'll be able to see in English, Scandinavia launch document, Western Europe, which is all of Western Europe. We have it in French, Italian, Spanish as well. So you can find the launch document right here. Now, I am going to use, in fact, let me use the Western Europe launch document, because that has the Western European figures, and we can just use those figures. I've also got the UK figures here as well, okay, for the compensation plan. But regardless of whichever one you use, it's pretty straightforward. So the first thing I will do is I will say to the person, hey, listen, firstly, you want to make the launch a conversation. You really want to make it enjoyable. You want to make it a conversation that you two are having. So remember, the first day they've signed up, now next day they're meeting with you. You say, hey, welcome, man. It's so good to see you again. Hey, today what we're going to do is we are going to launch your business. I want to make sure that you have the best start possible in Nexarize. I want to make sure that you really can come in and have a great start. But listen, in order for me to actually find out, so first thing you write, hey, first thing, this is your business ID number. This is the ID number that you need in any correspondence, anything in Nexarize, you need this ID number. It's unique to you, it's very, very important. Your website is this. If you remember, I gave you your website yesterday. This is your website, etc. Now is you set a goal, okay? Very important. Set a goal, but also when you are setting their goal, make sure that you find out what their reason why is. So setting a goal is not just setting a goal, but it's also finding out what their reason why is. So I always have a conversation with the people I'm speaking to. Hey, let me ask you a question. What is your reason why? What do you, so firstly, in fact, let's take a step back. Let's say I know that individual, I met them yesterday, and already yesterday, we've already had a conversation. And yesterday they told me that they work as a security officer. They work as a security officer. Let's say in a building, they are the security guard there in the building. Let's just say. Now what I do when I'm launching them is I want to find out what their reason why is, what their goal is. I ask better questions so we can have a conversation. So let's say that person's name is Davide. Let's use Davide as an example. What I would say is, hey, Davide, I want to ask you a question. Yesterday, you told me that you are a security officer, correct? Yes. Let me ask you a question. What is your goal in life? Like, what's your reason why? Why are you doing what you do? Now, imagine Davide says, well, the reason why I'm doing what I do is I want to save money. I want to buy a house. I want to provide a better future for my children. Now I ask them more questions because I want to make it a conversation. Davide, how many children do you have? Oh, I have 2 children. Oh, wow, 2 children. And right now, is your wife working? No, my wife doesn't work. Okay. So Davide, in your job, how are you able to provide for your 2 children, to provide for your family, to pay your bills and do everything else? How? No, really, this is the reason why I'm here. Okay, perfect. Davide, let's set a goal. Let's set a goal. I found out what Davide's reason why is. Now what I want to do is I want to set a goal with Davide. Very, very important, ladies and gentlemen, okay? You found out what their why is. Now you set a goal. Davide, I want to ask you a question. In the next 90 days, how much money would you like to make? And I want you to be realistic. Right now in your job, you told me in your job, you are making 2,000 euros a month. In the next 90 days, how much money do you want to make? I put The reason why I ask them, I want to put the ownership on them. You want to make sure, ladies and gents, you are putting the ownership on them. Let them say it. You don't say it for them. In the next 90 days, how much money do you want to make? Well, in the next 90 days, Ahmed, I want to make 3,000 euros. Okay, next 90 days, Davide, you want to make 3,000 euros. Now, I just want to tell you, that is going to require us to do a lot of work, because do you agree, for you to make 3,000 euros in your job extra, you need to do a lot of work? Yes, absolutely. Same thing here. We need to do a lot of work here. Now, Davide, let me ask you another question. In the next 180 days, so the next 6 months, how much money would you like to make? Man, listen, next 6 months, I want to be in a position where I'm making 3,000 a month. Okay, excellent. Now, Davide, I am going to show you our compensation plan. What we need to do, we need to focus on getting you to senior coordinator in the next 6 months. In fact, I will tell you something. You told me in the next 6 months, you want to make 3,000 a month. Well, Davide, how about if I tell you in the next 6 months, if we work today, I can help you become a platinum regional director where you're making 10,000 a month in the next 6 months. How does that sound? Wow. That sounds amazing. If you can show me how to make 10,000 a month in the next 6 months, I'm telling you, I am 100% focused. Okay, perfect. Now, here's now what I do. This part is very important. I'm now going to explain the compensation plan. But ladies and gentlemen, watch what I am going to say. Please write this down. This is very important. Davide, I am going to show you right now how in the next 6 months you could be making 10,000 a month. But it's not going to be easy. And here's what I'm going to need you to do. I need you to do 2 things. Number 1, do you agree that we are going to take action? Do you agree with this? Yes. I get their permission then and there. Do you agree we're going to take action? Yes, I agree. Number 2, today, there's a few things we are going to do today that I need you to do. Are you ready to do this? I am ready to do this. Now, I've got their permission. Always ask for permission, because later you're going to see why having permission is important. So I'm going to show you, Davide, how we can get to Platinum Regional Director in the next 6 months. I'm going to show you. But today, we're going to take some action. Do you give me permission to do this? Yes, I do. Okay, perfect. Let's get straight into it. Davide, what I'm going to do is I am going to now show you how you and me together, how we can take advantage of the compensation plan and really go out there and get you to Platinum Regional Director in the next 6 months. So ladies and gents, what I now do is I am going to show them the compensation plan, okay? I'm going to show them the compensation plan. So here's exactly what I will do, okay? So Davide, today, this is you, okay? This is you. Now, the first thing we need to do is we need to get you to EI. This is the first goal. The first goal is for us to get you to EI. For you to become an EI, you need 295 in volume. Okay? You need 295 in total volume. Now, there are 2 ways of doing this. We can build a team, or we can do it right now. So you make money very quickly, create a success story, and this is what our focus is going to be. But we need 295 in total volume. Now, what I would now do, ladies and gentlemen, I will show them the quickest way that they can get 295 in volume. They can do it through the services we have, or they can even do it with our VRS, our VRS Academy. So how they can get to 295 volume as soon as possible. This is what I want to show them. Hey, if today you get yourself, you get involved in our VRS Academy, you get some Fieros, you get 295 volume, you are EI, straight away you make money, you're a success story, and now your people will also get excited because you made money right away. This is the first focus that I now want to show Davide, okay? Now that I've shown them how to get 295 volume, again, they can do it through products, they can do it through services, etc., etc. This is what I love the most about our Next Arise compensation plan. So this person, they can get 295 volume directly themselves, or they can build a team and their team can do it as well. So let's say Davide comes in and let's say they get 100 volume. This person gets 100 volume. This person gets 100 volume. This person gets 100 volume. Total volume is 400. Okay? So you can do it directly by yourself, or we can build a team of people that can help us get to 295, volume. Very, very simple. We could do it yourself, or we can build a team that's going to help us do it. But the goal here, Davide, is we want to build a team as well. This is the goal. The goal is for us to get you to EI as soon as possible. But after we get you to EI, the goal is for us to build a team as quickly as possible. So there are two ways to become EI. You could do it yourself. How do you do it yourself? You get this, you get our VRS Academy. This is what our VRS Academy gives you. This is how many Fieros you get vesting, etc., etc. You show them all that value. I'm not going to go into all of that right now. But I'm sure all of you as leaders, you understand, Fiero, how much volume you get, how much you will accumulate. You understand all of that, okay? But what I want to focus on is the bigger picture here. So you could do it yourself, or you could build a team of other people as well so that you can accumulate 295 volume. Now, the goal here is watch what happens now as our team now grows. The goal is you as EI, you have 295 volume. Our goal is we want to build a culture of EIs. This is the culture we want to build. And everyone that becomes EI, we don't want them just to have 295 volume. We want every EI that comes in, every single EI, we want them to have 400 volume each in their team. Why? If you have 100, this person has 100, this person has 100, this person has 100, that's a total of 400 volume. Our focus is everyone that comes in to have 400 total volume as an EI. Every EI should have 400 volume. This is what our focus is. Okay? Now, you could do it through services. You could do it through VRS. You could do it with however you want. But this is what our ultimate objective is. Now, let me just show you, ladies and gentlemen, the power of our compensation plan. Okay? Now, let's say month number one. Okay? Month number one, Davide came in. And he's an EI, and he has a total volume of 400. This is the total group volume he has in his organization. Now, here's what's going to happen. Whenever he replicates this behavior, what now happens? He gets promoted. Whenever he replicates this behavior, he gets promoted. So let's say Davide today, he introduces one person here, that person goes EI, and that EI has 400 total business volume. He now has another person. That person goes EI, and they now have 400 in business volume. Now he has another person, They have 400 volume. They become EI. That's a total of 1,200 volume. Now, Davide, what now happens to Davide? He now becomes an executive team trainer, ETT. Okay? So now walk with me. Walk with me. Here, I am going to write the total earnings of Davide. He's made 100 as an EI month number 1. Okay? Plus, I'm not even going to speak about the FRS or the direct personal residual income of 10%. I'm not even going to speak about that. But let's just use the compensation plan total income when it comes to the position. So let's say month number 1, he made 100. Now, month number 2, Davide now helped 3 people go EI. He's helped person 1, person 2, and person 3 now go EI. What will now happen is he now helps this person go EI with 400 volume. This person goes EI with 400 volume. This person now goes EI with 400 volume. That's a total of 1,200 volume. Davide now becomes an executive team trainer. As an executive team trainer, month number 2, he now makes 250 as an ETT. Month number 3, our goal is to help anyone in this organization become an executive team trainer. Same thing here, same thing here. Any single person in these 3 teams, anyone in these 3 teams to become an EI, anyone in this team to become an executive team trainer, anyone in this team to become an executive team trainer. So as long as anyone in these 3 teams becomes an executive team trainer, what will now happen? Davide will now become an executive team leader. It's as simple as this. Our compensation plan, ladies and gentlemen, what I love about our compensation plan, listen to me carefully. It's all about becoming an EI. And when you become an EI, help every single one of your EIs get a little bit more volume. So let's say every EI in your organization, every EI, let's just say they had 350 volume each. A little bit more than 295, a little bit more. They had 350 volume each. If every EI has 350 volume, here's now what happens. So let's start again. You join Nexarise. You become qualified. You now focus on becoming an EI. When you become an EI, you accumulate a total of 350 volume. Here's what now happens. You help 3 people do the exact same thing and become EI with 350 volume. You now become an executive team trainer. Now, as an executive team trainer, if you help 3 people in any one of your 3 organizations do what you've done, which is become an executive team trainer, you now become an executive team leader. As an executive team leader, if you help 3 people also become executive team leader, just like you now become a senior team leader. And as a senior team leader, if you help 3 people achieve just what you've done, you now become a senior coordinator. And as a senior coordinator, if you help 3 people become senior coordinator, you now become a regional director. And this is the beauty and the simplicity of our compensation plan, which I will speak about shortly. But let's continue this example. Now, month 2, let's say Davide now becomes an executive team trainer. Now we help people in these 3 organizations also become executive team trainers. Okay? Now what will happen is he would now become an executive team leader. As an executive team leader, he now makes 500 every single month in residual income. After executive team leader, what do? We now help 3 people become executive team leader. What will now happen? You would now become a senior team leader where he would now make 1,000 every single month. And we replicate this example, ladies and gents. And after senior team leader, if he now helps 3 people now become senior team leaders, he would now become a senior coordinator, which is 3,000 a month. And after senior coordinator, if he now helps 3 people now become a senior coordinator, he would now become a regional director, which is 5,000 a month. And if he does the exact same thing, and he helps people become regional director, what will now happen? He would now start making 10,000 a month, and he will become a platinum regional director. This is literally the beauty of the Nexarize compensation plan. And ladies and gentlemen, what I want to do is I want to just show you something just so you can actually see it for yourself. Take a look at this, okay? When you take a look at the Nexarize compensation plan, remember what I said. This is EI, okay? This is EI. How much volume do you need to become EI? You now need 295 volume to become EI. But remember what I said. I don't want people just becoming EI with 295 volume. I want them pushing a little bit more. Hey, become EI, help them build a team of maybe 4 people. If 4 people have 100 volume each, that's 400 total volume, right? So again, help them push towards a little bit more volume. Now, if every EI just has 350 volume, just 350 volume, now what will happen is this. They come in, they become an EI with 350 volume. They now introduce 3 people to their business. And those 3 people, we help them do the exact same thing. 350, 350, 350. That's 1,200. 1,200, they have more than the 1,020 requirement. So that person will now automatically become an executive team trainer. Now, what the compensation plan says, whatever you do, just replicate it. Whatever you do, replicate it. So now walk with me. If now I help 3 people become executive team trainers just like me in 3 organizations, executive team trainers just like me, that would now be 3,060 volume, which means automatically I am now an executive team leader. And now if I'm an executive team leader, I have 2,125 volume. If I now help 3 people do the exact same thing that I did, which is get 2,125 volume each, what will now happen? I will now become a senior team leader. And now as a senior team leader, if I now as a senior team leader now help 3 people do the exact same thing, and I help 3 people do the exact same thing, what will now happen? I now become a senior coordinator. And as a senior coordinator, if I help 3 people do the exact same thing, I become a regional director. You see, ladies and gentlemen, that is the beauty of the Nexarize compensation plan, is the fact that it just says, whatever you've done, help 3 other people do it in 3 organizations. If you can help those 3 people do exactly what you've done, there is no limit to where you can go in the compensation plan. How do you go regional vice president? Well, help 3 people go platinum regional director. How do you go to platinum RVP? Help 3 people go RVP. How do you go to SVP? Help 3 people go platinum RVP. How do you go to platinum SVP? Well, help 3 people go to SVP. How do you now go to ambassador? Help 3 people become platinum SVP. How do you go to crown ambassador? Help 3 people become ambassador. So you can have the same philosophy all the way up the compensation plan. But where does it all start from, ladies and gentlemen? It starts from the position of EI. A senior vice president or a crown ambassador is nothing more than someone that has a lot of EI in their teams. That is what the entire Nexarize compensation plan is about, is helping going EI. And when you go EI, don't just go EI with 295 volume. Yes, if you go with 295 volume, No problem. You will make 100 euros. No problem. You will make a personal residual income of 10%. No problem. But now your goal is get more volume, build a team. And as you build a team, what happens? Your volume now increases. So ladies and gentlemen, let me go back to sharing my screen because I just want to come full circle because I want to make this now make sense now that I've explained, a lot of the compensation plans. So let's now imagine Davide is now sitting in front of me, okay? And I'm speaking about, the next arise, compensation plan, okay? So let's start again, okay? Very, very important. So now I've done the first part of the launch with Davide. Now I say, Davide, listen, I am now going to show you in the next 6 months how you can now become a platinum, a platinum regional director. Now, the first thing is this is you, okay? Our goal is to get you to EI, okay? This is the first goal. To become an EI, you need 295 volume, and you can do this through many ways. You could do it with this product, that product, VRS, etc. You can tell them exactly how to go about EI. But look what I'm going to go and speak about. I want to show them the possibility in the next 180 days. Now, Davide, what's going to happen is your team is now going to start growing. As your team now starts growing, we are now going to help every single person also become an EI as well. This is what we're going to help them do. So now I want you to walk with me. Let's say, Davide, you've come into Nexarise. You now have 150, or let's now say you come in and you now have a total, a total volume, right? You now personally, let's say you have a total personal volume of, I don't know, let's say 150, okay? This person comes in, gets 150. This person gets 150. This person gets 150. You are EI. Whichever example, ladies and gents, that you want to show is no problem at all. But the goal for Davide here is to become an EI. Now that he's EI, here's what we now do. We are now going to help these people also become EI as well. Okay? Now, what will happen is every single EI, we are going to help them to get more volume than just 295. So let's say this person is an EI, they have 350 volume. This person has 350 volume. This person has 350 volume. Perfect. Now what happens? You made 100 euros. You made 100 euros as an EI. Plus, now you will become an executive team trainer. So you now make 250 euros. Why? Because every single EI in your team now has volume, and now you are an executive team trainer. Now that you are executive team trainer, here's what our goal is. Our goal is to now help anyone in this team, and anyone in this organization also become just like you and become an executive team trainer. So as soon as we have one person become executive team trainer, one person becomes executive team trainer, another person becomes executive team trainer, you now become an executive team leader. And now as an executive team leader, you will now make 500 euros. Now, after executive team leader, as your organization starts growing, what's now going to happen? As we now help people do what we did and also become an executive team leader. So let's say now you are now executive team leader because everyone in your team is now executive team trainer. We will now help someone in this team become an executive team leader. We will help someone else become an executive team leader. Another person become an executive team leader. You would now become a senior team leader. And as a senior team leader, you now make 1,000 euros. And now what we do as a senior team leader, we do the exact same thing. Help 3 people become a senior team leader. What will now happen? You will now become a senior coordinator. After senior coordinator, we do the exact same thing. You will now become a regional director. And after this, you will now become a platinum regional director. Now, listen to me carefully, Davide. This is not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time and it's going to take some work, but I will be here and I'm going to help to support you every step of the way. I just want you to understand, we are going to duplicate exactly what you've done. You come in, become an EI. We help 3 people become EI. We help those people now become an ETT like you, and same thing all the way down. We do this, you are now going to really climb up the compensation plan. So walk with me. If let's say in our first 30 days, Davide, we do this in our first 30 days. In our first 60 days, we do this. Okay? In our first 90 days, we now become a senior team leader. In our first 120 days, you are now making 3,000 a month. In the first 150 days, you are making 5,000. And in the next 180 days, you can now become a platinum regional director. Are you ready to run with me? This is, ladies and gentlemen, how you get someone excited over the Nexarize compensation plan. First 30 days, help them become an executive team trainer. To become an executive team trainer, it really is not hard at all. It all depends on how effective the launch is. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to speak to you about the next steps of the launch. So now I've just shown Davide how he can become a platinum regional director in the next 6 months. I've already shown him now. So now he shared his reason why. Okay, so he shared his reason why. I've shown him the possibilities of the Nexarize compensation plan. And whether you're showing a UK comp plan or whether you're showing a Africa comp plan, it's all the same, right? The numbers end up being the same. If you follow the same scenario that I'm speaking to you about, it'll be the same outcome. So they share their reason why. You've now showed them how it's now possible. Well, here's what you now need to do. Step number 2. Step number 2, remember, this is why asking for permission is so important. What did I say to Davide in the beginning? We are going to take some action. Are you okay for this? What did he say? Absolutely yes. Well, now, Davide, here's what we need to do. We need to get you qualified and we need to get you to EI as soon as possible. Here are the different products that we had. So I showed them, of course, Fiero, Lifestyle, Arise Academy, the other products that we have. And I'm going to help them become qualified and to go to EI as much as possible by helping them now acquire the volume which is needed. Very important. Now, after you've done step 2, because step 1 and step 2 go together. And remember, this is why asking for permission is important. Now, if Davide comes to me and says, oh, but I didn't know we were going to do something today. But Davide, I asked you, do you give me permission so that we can really explode your business? You said yes. This is why we're doing what we're doing. Does that make sense, ladies and gents? This is why it's very important. You need to ask them when you're starting the launch. Hey, listen, what's your reason why? They share their reason why. Well, listen, I'm going to help you achieve that. I'm going to help you in the next 180 days. How you can accomplish your goal, the goal you gave me. You said you want to make 3,000 after 6 months. Well, I'm going to show you how to make 10,000 after 6 months. But listen, we need to take action today. Are you okay for this? Most of the time, they'll say yes. And we need to do some things today together. Are you okay for this? Yes. This is why when it comes to this part, you've already asked for their permission. Very important. And then now, ladies and gentlemen, you go to step number 3. What is step number 3? This is really the part that I'm very, very passionate about, which is building a team. What I now do is there are 2 groups of people that you can get in front of the quickest. Okay? 2 people. So what I do, in fact, I'll come back to that, right? I'll come back to that. But here's now what I tell them on step 3. Hey, we need to build a team. We need to build a team, and we need to have a personal, a private business reception. We need to have a PBR as soon as possible. What is PBR? PBR is a private meeting. Is simply a private meeting. And there are 2 ways that I do this, right? There are 2 phases. Very, very important. Listen to this carefully. I now ask this person, okay? I now ask the person, hey, listen, right now, I want you to write a list of 20 names as soon as possible. I want us to write a list of 20 names as soon as possible. And I want you, when you are writing this list, I want you to think about, number one, the closest people to you. Let's write their names. So ladies and gents, I just don't tell them, write 20 names. No, I tell them, first thing we're going to do is write a list of your closest people to you. I want you to think about your parents. I want you to think about your partner. I want you to think about your best, closest friends. I want you to think about the people you speak to the most. Write their names down. Now, what would often happen? The person writes where it's, number one, they would write. Number two, they will write. Number three, they will write. They will write all the way up to probably around 8 to 10, because most people have 8 to 10 people that are the closest to them. Now, what I tell them is I tell them, hey, now I want you to write your colleagues that you work with. Now I want you to write the people that you're not so close with. Who is it that's got influence? Who is the person that you know that is very smart? Who is the person that you know? And I give them examples. Who is the person you know that will be good at network marketing? Who is the most influential person you know? Who is the most successful person you know? Who is the person with the best work ethic? Who is someone you know that always speaks about making more money, or the person that needs to make more money? Or who is the person that you think will be good at networking or has influence? Now I help them write these 20 names. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't just stop at 20. On this sheet, we have 20 names, but usually when I sit down with someone, I tell them, let's continue writing. After 20, I say, let's continue writing. I help them write a list of 50 people. Sometimes there's been people I sit with them for 40 minutes, 40 minutes, and we write more than 100 names on a piece of paper. Remember, the bigger the list is, the more ammunition they have. I want you to understand. Imagine you are going to war, but you only have 20 bullets. What will now happen? You have a high chance that you are not going to win that war. But imagine you are going to war and you know you have 100 bullets. If you shoot one and you miss, no problem, you have 99 left. This is the way people see a contact list. If someone just writes 10 names, you know what's going to happen? The moment 3 people say no, they're already worried. Oh my goodness, I've only got 7 people to go. They feel like the business doesn't work. But listen, when someone writes 50, 100 names, if 3 people say no, hey, no problem. We still have more people to go. Even if 10 people say no, no problem. We have 90 names to go. Don't worry, you're okay. And even their mindset changes, because their mindset is as big as their list. Listen to me carefully. Someone's mindset when they first begin the business is as big as their list. I'm telling you, if their list only has 5 people and 3 say no, they're going to quit already. If they have 10 people and 5 say no, they're going to quit already. But if they have 50 people on their list and 5 say no, 10 say no, they're still going to be excited. Why? There's 40 possibilities still. If they write 100 people, if even 50 say no, they still have 50 more possibilities. Does that make sense? You have to understand this. So help them write a list in the launch. Hey, let's write your list, because your success is determined on this. Let's now write a list. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now that they've wrote their list, there are 2 types of presentations that I do. Very important. Number 1 is something called an emergency exposure. Something called an emergency exposure. What is an emergency exposure? What is an emergency exposure? This is what an emergency exposure is, okay? And I want all of you to really pay attention to this very, very carefully. An emergency exposure is getting in front of their closest people the quickest, okay? Getting in front of their closest people the quickest. So let me give you an example, okay? Let me give you all an example. Let's say the person comes number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, yeah? And now let's say, you know, we keep growing, right? We got 100 people on the list. And now they write person A, person B, person C, person D, E, F, and so on and so on. And now they write all these names are now on their list, okay? And they continue, you know, I'm writing a list. And now we go to, let's say, up to 50 names or even 100 names. And they write a long list of people. Now what I do, ladies and gents, is I ask them, hey, out of all these names, I want you to circle the people that are the closest to you. The closest to you. So example. If you were driving a car and your tire, the tire of your car burst, and you are in the middle of nowhere, who would you call first? I would call this person. Okay, perfect. Who is this person? This person is my wife. And then I would call my best friend. And then I would call my other best friend. Then I would call my brother. Then I would call my auntie. And then I would call my sister. And then I would call my other sister. Okay, perfect. That means they have 7 people who are the closest to them. Ladies and gentlemen, with these 7 people, I would do an emergency exposure, emergency meeting. I call this emergency meeting. Those 7 people, I will do an emergency meeting. Why? Understand this. This is very, very important. The people that you are the closest to, they don't need an invitation script. The people that you are the closest to, they do not need an invitation script. Example, right now, I'm in my office. If I call my brother right now, or my mother, or my uncle right now, and I tell them, hey, there's an emergency, I want you to come as soon as possible right now, they will. Yes or no? They will. So now when I'm inviting these people at the launch and I have Davide in front of me, I now get his 7 people that are closest to him. These people, I want to arrange emergency exposure. So here's what I say to Davide. Hey, Davide, I want us to call these people, and here's what I want you to tell them. We're going to meet with them tomorrow. We will meet with these people tomorrow. And here's what I want you to tell them. I want you to tell them just this, nothing more. Hey, I hope you are doing well, just like normal. Listen, I cannot speak for long, but please, I need to meet you urgently tomorrow. It's something very important. If I call my brother right now, my brother, or my sister, or my mother right now, and I say, Mom, I need to meet with you tomorrow. It's very, very important. I'll send you the information. My mother will come straight away. My mother will come straight away. Usually what I do when I'm working in the market, let's say I'm in London right now. If I'm working in the market, I see everyone physically. I don't do it on Zoom. I do it physically right then and there. Now, if your team is in another side of the country and so on, and you cannot get to them, then of course you have to do it on Zoom. But if you are able to get to people, Always do this physically. There's nothing better. So what I now do, ladies and gents, is I meet with the closest people they know the very next day because they don't need invitation. It's easy to invite them. Very easy and simple. And I can get in front of them the quickest. Hey, we need to meet tomorrow urgently. There's something I need to show you. My mother's not going to ask me why. You know, even if she says why, I say, Mom, we need to meet tomorrow. Please don't ask me questions. I'll see you tomorrow. She will come. Same thing with my brother. Same thing with my best friend. This is called emergency exposure. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are two things in a launch. Number one is emergency exposures, okay? Emergency meetings. This is very important. Number two is everyone else on the list. Does that make sense? Emergency exposures and everyone else. With everyone else, I am going to show you how to invite everyone else. So first thing is call the emergency exposures, get them scheduled for the very next day. You get them scheduled. And everyone else, you now want to invite for another meeting, which is your private business reception, PBR, and you can meet with those other people. So those other people, there are multiple ways of getting them in front of the information. You can get them. Again, I would say always meet people physically. What I used to do with people, I used to do home meetings. I would get people down to a home meeting, and later on I'll speak about home meetings in a bit more, a little bit more detail. I'll give you a few points, but I'm going to do another topic on this leadership series on how to do a home meeting. But one thing I used to get everyone else into one home meeting, or you can also do one-on-one presentations as well. Does that make sense? So try to do physical meetings or get them down to an event, but try to avoid Zoom if you can. If your team is overseas, then no problem, then do it on Zoom. But always I try to promote as much as physical meetings, as possible. With everyone else, ladies and gentlemen, this is the script that you want to use. Mentor, project, visual information. Number one, mentor is a person. People like meeting a person, someone that they can learn from. Number two, speak about a project. Number three, visual information. So let's say you call someone. Hey, how are you doing? Hope everything's well. You go through the normal general stuff that you do on a conversation. One thing that you want to do is show urgency and enthusiasm when you're inviting. And try to keep it maximum around 2 minutes. You don't want to spend 5 minutes in an invitation because then you go off topic, etc., etc. Try to keep it between 2 minutes. If they ask questions, don't explain anything, right? Just keep them very, very simple and just keep it to the inviting script. So let me just tell you, hey, how are you? Hope everything's good, etc., etc. Normally, what you normally do. Now you go on to point one. Hey, Davide, you've seen the state of the country today. With everything which is happening, such as the cost of living is going up, inflation is going up, everything today is going up. But one thing I realized, my income wasn't. And because of this, I started looking at other ways of making money. And I came across an individual. And this person's name is Giuseppe Manzo. Hey, listen, right now, Giuseppe, he's expanding a multi-million-dollar project right now in our area, in Paris, right now in Napoli, right now in London, right now in let's say another country. It doesn't matter. Right now in our area. And I thought of you. And we can both really benefit from this. Hey, listen, Wednesday, 7 p.m., right? Wednesday, 7 p.m. I am meeting with Giuseppe one-on-one. Or Wednesday, 7 p.m., I have a Zoom call with Giuseppe, at 7 p.m. Hey, listen, if I send you the link or the information of where we're meeting so that you can see the visual information, would you attend? Okay? Very, very simple. And then now, very important, keep it simple to the point. If they ask any questions, here's what you want to say. Just trust me and take a look. It's all visual information. I cannot explain this. You need to come see for yourself. This is the script you use for everyone else. So there are two types of exposures, ladies and gents. Number one is emergency exposures, and number two is for everyone else. Now, I want to just share something with you, okay? If you follow this line of building the business, I'm telling you, you can really, really build a monstrous business, okay? Very, very important. This is really how you launch someone effectively. So what have I done in a launch? Number one, I've gone through the person's reason why. What's their reason why? I'm out of their reason why. I've set a goal. After the goal, I show them the compensation plan. After the compensation plan, I help them get qualified and go to EI. Then we write their list. And from their list, we do 2 meetings. Number one, emergency meeting. Number two, everyone else. I do this. I get them to write a list, call people then and there in front of me. I'm telling you, if someone does not make calls in front of you, they won't make calls privately neither. This is why you have to spend time in the launch. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, I said that the launch will usually take 1.5 hours. You can see it there and there. It will take you around 1.5 hours, even maybe 2 hours. But let me tell you something. If you launch someone effectively, this will be a very, very good start to their business. And I'm telling you, they will make a lot of money. You know, there's an individual that I started, in the UK. And I remember first 24 hours, he became EI. First 24 hours. He started the business. I showed him our FRS Academy. Straight away, he became a customer of FRS. He became EI. First 24 hours. Straight away. And now I said, okay, now let's schedule meetings. Let's have emergency exposure. He now, then and there, we had emergency exposure the very next day of 6 people. Out of the 6 people, 4 got started the same day. And we repeated that same process. And I'm going to show you how you can do the exact same thing. So ladies and gentlemen, this is how you launch someone, right? This is how you effectively get someone started in Nexarize. Now, let me tell you what will happen. If you can do this effectively, it will change your business forever. If you can do this effectively, I'm telling you, it will change your business forever. Listen to this carefully. Let's say day number 1, this is you. And I want to just use an example. Imagine now, all of you that are on the line right now, I want you to imagine right now, you are going to go back to scratch and you're going to go back to phase 1 by yourself. Okay? And you just follow what I've just told you today and last week. You present to someone and you close them. Okay? Day 1. Day number 2, you launch that person. Okay? So day number 1 and 2, you presented to that person. And day number 2, you launch them. Nothing else. Simple. Yes? Day 1, you close them. Day number 2, you launch them. Now, when you launch them, it's so important you write a contact list and you schedule emergency exposures. Why? Here's the reason why. Now we go to the 3rd day. So remember, day 1, they signed up. Day number 2, you launched them. And now we scheduled emergency exposures on day number 2. So because of those emergency exposures, day number 3, I am already meeting with the closest people they know. So day number 3, I'm already meeting with the closest people they know. Now imagine they put 5 people in front of me. 5 people of their mum, their brother, their sister, their auntie, their uncle. 5 of their closest people come in front of me. And out of all the 5 people, just 1 person said yes. Now that person that said yes, I do the exact same thing. I sign them up. I presented to them day number 3. I've closed them on day number 3. On day number 4, I now launch that person. And I do the same thing with them. I schedule emergency exposures in the launch on day 4. If I now launch them the exact same way, what will now happen? On day number 5, I now have meetings scheduled because of the emergency exposures. So now imagine on day 5, that person put 3 people in front of me. And out of those 3 people that are emergency exposures, just 1 person said yes. What do I do on day 6? I launch that 1 person that said yes. Then what do I do when I launch them? I schedule emergency exposures. So what will now happen? Day number 7, I have emergency exposures. Let's say this person is a good influence and they've got 10 people on that day. And imagine out of all the 10, just 1 person signs up, just 1 person. If now just 1 person signs up and that 1 person says yes on day 7, what do I do on day 8? Day 8, I now launch that person. Okay? And then now on day 8, I launch that person. And then now day 9, I have emergency exposures with that person. And let's just say 1 person says yes on day 9. Ladies and gentlemen, if I just repeat this process, number 1, I'm going to be busy every day. Number 2, my business is growing daily by a level. You know what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen? By day 14, day number 14, after 14 days, your business would grow by 7 levels by day number 14. 7 levels by day number 14. So what I'm trying to tell you is, when you launch someone, just remember, launching means them introducing other people so you can get to them right away. Now, let me just ask you a question. Imagine now, after day 14, the person who signed up on day 1 decides to leave the business. Do you care? No, because you now have a leg growing under that person. Or let's say 2 people on your level 1 and 2 leave. You're not going to care. One of the things I would do, and I want you to listen to this carefully, you want to treat everyone like they are going to be your next crown ambassador. Treat everyone like they will be your next crown ambassador, but work with them like they're going to leave you tomorrow. What I used to do, I used to act like everyone, I respected them like they're going to be the next crown ambassador, but I would work with them like they're going to leave tomorrow. If you know, let's say I joined your team, me as Ahmed Mukhtar, I joined your team, and you know within 24 hours I'm going to leave. What are you going to do? You have 2 options. You watch me leave, or you get emergency exposures from me, so I introduce you to other people. So if I leave, you still have my people. And you do the exact same thing, and you follow this process. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how you build a monstrous business. This is called tap rooting. This is called tap rooting. What is tap rooting? Is finding a network through people. That is tap rooting. And the more that you can find network through people, your business will never, ever, ever die. Never. And I can guarantee this. And this is what I did successfully for many years. I would start a leg, I would build that leg, and I would literally duplicate that leg. I would duplicate that leg, and now go to the next leg, then next leg. And I would build like that every day. And guess what? Every day I was busy. You see, ladies and gentlemen, when people tell me in Nexarize, oh, I have nothing to do, I swear I don't understand. I don't get it. I've never in network marketing, never ever had a time where I was just available and free. I was so busy. Every day I was busy. I always had something to do. And this is the power of tap rooting through your network. Now listen, as part of this leadership series, I'm going to do an entire subject on tap rooting alone. But I just wanted to make you understand the concept here. And this is how you build someone. This is how you use launching effectively. Now, remember, listen, in this business, there is only two ways of doing the business. There's effective way of doing the business, or there's ineffective way of doing the business. There's no in between. You're either doing it effectively and you're getting results, or you're doing it ineffectively and you're not getting results. So you have to make sure that you are doing this, that when someone signs up and you close them, you take them through the launch process. And I'm telling you, if someone just becomes, let's say if someone just becomes a FRS customer, or they become a Rise Academy or lifestyle customer, and they just become qualified, I'm not happy with that. I want to make sure that, yes, they get the volume, great. They become EI, great. But just that, if someone just becomes EI in a launch, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. If someone starts, they become EI, I'm not happy. But if someone starts, they become EI, and they get people in front of me, then I'm happy. That's how you do an effective launch, is when someone has got volume into the business and they've introduced new people to the network. The next day in emergency exposures, then I'm happy. So if you just do one or the other, that's half a launch. If you do the entire thing as a full launch, so make sure you are launching people fully in your business. You see, ladies and gentlemen, it's very, very important that you are taking advantage of this system, that we have, because it's all part of team building. And I'm going to tell you something, you can never, ever run out of momentum if you are always in phase one. If you are always in phase one, you can never, ever run out of momentum. Ladies and gents, there are 4 phases in our business, 4 phases. There is something called phase one. What is phase one? When you are actively recruiting new IBIs, okay? New IBIs, and you are creating massive momentum. This is called phase one. And then what now happens is something called phase two. Phase two now is you are not recruiting any new IBIs. Instead, what you're doing is, all you're doing is just managing your team. What I've seen a lot of leaders do, they give their teams Calendly, and they just say, hey, book meetings. And their teams book meetings, but they're just doing meetings for their team. The biggest problem is you start managing your team. This is called phase two. Now, what phase two does is it decreases your momentum. Why? Why does it decrease your momentum? Because everyone is dependent on you. Now, you only have 24 hours in a day. You can't do, if right now you have a superstar and they want to put 100 people in a meeting, you cannot do it yourself. It's impossible. This is why when you are managing your team, it decreases momentum because you alone can only do so much. So what do you have to do rather than managing your team? Get back to phase one. What is phase one? Starting new teams, new legs, new stories, tap routing, launching, emergency exposures, going a level deep. This is how you always stay in phase one. Then what happens? You go into phase number 3. What is phase number 3? I've seen great leaders in this industry go into phase 3. I swear I've seen this. And what do they start doing? They start analyzing everything. They start analyzing the compensation plan of Nexarise. They start analyzing the products and services. They start analyzing everything. And you know what happens when you start to analyze? No momentum. Momentum completely dies. Because why? Your team follows what you do, not what you say. If you are analyzing, your team will analyze. And last but not least is phase 4, when you start blaming everyone. And this is when you know you're about to quit. You start blaming people. Oh, I'm blaming my upline. I'm blaming this. I'm blaming this product. I'm blaming this service. I'm blaming this. I'm blaming customer support. And you start blaming everything. Let me tell you something, ladies and gents, and this is very, very important everyone understands. There is no such a thing on this planet as the perfect company. Every company will have its goods and bads. My advice to you as a leader is Focus on what's in your control, not what's out of your control. Listen to me carefully. If it rains tomorrow, it's not in my control. I don't control the weather. However, what's in my control is if I get rained on. Why? I can use an umbrella. That's in my control. I'll say that again. It's not in my control if it rains tomorrow. But if I get rained on, it's in my control. So focus on what's in your control. In Nexarize, what's in your control? How many people you're speaking to every day? How many new people you're recruiting? How many people you're launching? How many people you're taprooting? And how many success stories you're creating? Everything else is not in your control. Focus on what's in your control. If you focus on what's in your control, I promise you what's out of your control doesn't matter. So I'll give you an example. If I have an umbrella, the rain doesn't matter anymore because it's out of my control. I have an umbrella. If you focus on what's in your control, what's out of your control does not even matter. Very, very important. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to finish off with this. There are 3 phases of every organization, every team. The number 1 phase is the forming phase when a team is coming together. How do you form the right team, the right organization? Well, here's what you have to do. You have to make it a family. You have to make it a community. You need to make it a good environment. What do? Do team bondings together. Go to dinners together. Do activities together. Don't just make it all about business, business, business. Get to know one another's family. Do something like paintballing. You know, paintballing when you shoot each other with paint. You know, do things like go-karting together. Go to a theme park together. A theme park. Go enjoy a day together. Create that bond together. Because remember, listen to me carefully, is about becoming friends. Ladies and gentlemen, is about building friendships. Why? An IBI will leave you. A friend won't leave you. I want you to understand this. An IBI will leave you. A friend will not leave you. So have bondings together. Get to know one another. You know what we used to do before? I used to invite all my team over when we first started, and we would do personal growth together. We would read a book together. We would go on YouTube and study the industry of network marketing together. We will study products and services together. We will do trainings together. So we would come to my house. One day we do a training on Fieres. Another day we do training on lifestyle. Another day we do a training on the Rise Academy. This is called personal development. You all grow together. Attend events together. Build a family. This is the first step of a team. Without step 1, you can't go to step 2. Without step 2, you can't go to step 3. I'm telling you, step 1 is very, very important. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what is step number 2? Step number 2 is the duplicating phase. How do you duplicate? Well, ladies and gents, the way that you are going to duplicate is this. If you don't have EIs in your team, then you need to go EI. I'll repeat. If you don't have EIs in your team, remember what I said, between you and any position in Nexarize is the amount of EIs they have. If you don't have an EI in your team, then you need to go to EI again. You need to become an EI again. Then when you become an EI, help other people go EIs. Now, when someone becomes an EI in your organization, here's what you need to do. You need to do an EI launch. So they become EI. I used to do this all the time. When someone becomes an EI in my organization, I would call them and I say, hey, listen, congratulations on becoming EI. So happy for you. Well done. This is the first step. Hey, listen, you and I, we need to meet as soon as, because we need to do your EI launch. We need to launch you now in your new position. Congratulations. What is an EI launch? Well, I go through a few things with them. Number one, I teach them how to present and how to close. Number two, I teach them how to launch. Number three, I teach them the compensation plan and we set their next goal to become ETT, ETL, STL, and SC. So these are the 3 steps of how to do an EI launch and how to duplicate. Then now you have step number 3 of an organization. So the step number 1 is forming. Step 2 is duplicating. And let me tell you something. If you do this effectively, you know what's going to happen? When you set this culture and everyone knows how to launch, everyone knows how to close, everyone knows, how to do emergency exposures and how to taproot. You know what you're going to create? You are going to create a system. Ladies and gentlemen, what does system stand for? In English, SYSTEM. Save yourself time, energy, money. Because now you go to step 3. What is step 3? Right? And what are the steps of duplicating? You do it for them, you watch them do it, then you let them do it. So think about this. Before someone's an EI, you're doing everything for them. When they become EI, I launch them, I teach them this. When I teach them this, I just don't leave them. No, don't leave them. Watch them do it and give them feedback. Hey, you did good presentation. Hey, your closing was good. Change this. So you're always giving feedback as a leader. And then lastly, they're going to do it themselves. And then you watch them do it. Those are the 3 steps of duplication. Do it for them. Watch them do it. And then let them do it themselves. Okay, those are the 3 steps. Then what happens, ladies and gents? You go into step number 3, which is building on momentum. You're going to have literally momentum everywhere. Why? Everyone can launch. Everyone can present. Everyone now knows what to do and how to do it. And everyone's just growing. You see, ladies and gentlemen, this is really how you build an empire in network marketing. If you don't have a system, I'm telling you, you are not going to be able to grow a large organization.